Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin has just seen the highest monthly candle close in history. So in just a moment, I'll be taking a look at all of the previous times where Bitcoin has broken into a new all-time high on the monthly chart to give us a good idea on what we could expect Bitcoin to do next. I will also be updating you guys on some more massive price targets to the upside, including some brand new price patterns that are forming on the smaller timeframes right now, and possibly a brand new breakout that is currently happening at the time of filming this video. We've got all of that and more later in the video, so definitely make sure you're watching all the way to the end of this video so that you're not missing out on any of this valuable information. And just before we jump into it, make sure to drop a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight to what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the monthly chart, the 1 month time frame. And what we can see here is we just obviously closed the month of October. And so that means we closed the last monthly candle and just started the November monthly candle. But the October monthly candle was the highest monthly close in history. We've never seen a monthly candle close higher than the month of October that we just finished. And historically speaking, we'll take a look at previous times this has happened, but historically speaking, this is a very bullish sign on the big picture. The monthly chart doesn't necessarily tell us what's going to happen over the next few hours, that sort of thing, but it tells us what could happen over the next few months. Zooming all the way out here on the monthly chart, this is Bitcoin's entire price history dating all the way back since 2010. And all of these lines on the chart just here are basically lines where we've had an all-time high monthly candle close, and then we've gone through quite a lot of bearish price action to get to a point where we finally break into a new all-time high monthly candle close. So taking a look at the first one just here, we set the all-time high back in 2011, the middle of 2011. And at that stage, the highest monthly candle close in Bitcoin's history was at around $15 before Bitcoin then crashed all the way down towards $2. And the Bitcoin price actually stayed below that highest monthly candle close for 580 days before we finally broke into a new all-time high on the monthly chart in terms of the monthly candle closes. And taking a look at the moment, we finally saw a monthly candle close above the previous all-time high. That was basically the signal for us showing that we are very likely going to stay bullish for quite some time. And that's exactly what happens. For the next 3 months, we had extremely bullish price action on the monthly chart. Obviously, in the middle of that price action, if you're looking at smaller time frames, we can have bearish price action along the way, but that's just in the short term. When you're zooming out looking at the big picture, it was basically only green price action here on the monthly chart. And then we reached another point where we topped out and had 2 red months, and we ended up staying below that all-time high monthly candle close for around 3 to 4 months approximately before we finally started breaking above the all-time high. And the moment we did that, the Bitcoin price absolutely exploded to the upside. And then eventually we ran into some more resistance and saw quite a lot of bearish price action leading into 2014 and 2015. And fun fact, this was the longest amount of time in Bitcoin's entire history where you would have stayed in a loss if you bought at the all-time high, because from the 2013 all-time high at the end of the 2013 bull market all the way to the point where we finally broke into a new all-time high during 2017, that was a massive 1,247 days or 41 months that you would have stayed in a loss if you bought the all-time high. So technically speaking, the 2013 bull market all-time high was one of the worst times you could have possibly bought Bitcoin. But obviously, if you're holding for the long term, eventually we broke into a new all-time high. So that's why it's really important, especially for the beginners, to keep a long-term mindset when it comes to investing, because no matter how harsh the bear market, so far throughout Bitcoin's history, we've always recovered. But anyway, getting on with it, as you can see, the moment we broke above that previous all-time high during around the middle of 2017, Bitcoin absolutely exploded to the upside. We really started to pick up the pace. You can see the difference here leading into the all-time high breakout. We had some decent gains to the upside, and then the moment we break the all-time high, that is when things started to get crazy for the Bitcoin price action. And we saw the exact same thing back here. As you can see, looking at the 2017 bull market top, the highest monthly candle close back then was just below $14,000 per Bitcoin, and we stayed below that all-time high monthly candle close all the way up until the end of 2020. So basically, if you bought the all-time high back in 2017, it would have taken you around 3 years to finally see profits again. But that's of course if you didn't accumulate during the bearish times, if you simply just bought at the top and held. But anyway, you can see here, the moment we broke the all-time high monthly candle close, that was the exact moment that Bitcoin absolutely exploded to the upside. In fact, at that time just there, we saw a total of 6 extremely bullish months in a row on the monthly time frame. Now, once again, during the middle of that bullish price action, if you're looking at smaller time frames, there was some bearish price action along the way. Like for example, back in January this this year, we did have a decent pullback in the Bitcoin chart, but obviously that's not visible here on the monthly chart. What is visible is that crash that we had back in May after we set a new highest monthly candle close back in March this year, and only just now we've finally broken into a new monthly candle close all-time high. So if you simply look at all of the previous times in Bitcoin's entire history where we've finally broken into a new highest monthly candle close, this simply means that we are due for a lot more bullish price action over the next few months. Now, obviously, just because it's happened in the past, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to happen in the future. But with that being said, so far we have had a 100% success rate of seeing extremely bullish price action after an all-time high monthly candle close. Now, where would some initial price targets come in for Bitcoin if we can see some more bullish price action like I was just talking about? Well, we have some short-term levels to pay attention to, which I will mention in just a moment. But looking here on the 3-day time frame, we're still currently playing out this huge cup and handle pattern that's already formed and has already broken to the upside. But the price target is actually coming in at around $79,000 US. So obviously we're not there just yet, and that is still a major price target for Bitcoin that is active on the chart. And obviously Bitcoin can go higher than that, but that's just one of the first major price targets for Bitcoin above the all-time high. And speaking about the all-time high, that is one of the shorter term points of resistance before we can start looking at these larger time frames. And speaking about the short term, zooming right into the 2-hour Bitcoin chart, what we can see at the moment is obviously we were previously forming this huge falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish pattern, meaning that it's simply more likely to break out to the upside. And that's exactly what we saw here. We saw a break to the upside, but after seeing the breakout to the upside, Bitcoin came back down to see a retest of this previous line of resistance to flip it into support to help confirm the breakout to the upside. But obviously the first retest wasn't enough. We've actually had so far a total of 3 retests of this exact line of previous resistance now acting as support, and currently that is coming in at just below $60,000 US. Now obviously just one retest would have been good enough, but for as long as Bitcoin can start heading up pretty soon, then this triple bounce along this line just here can still act as a massive confirmation method for this breakout to the upside if we can start breaking above this point of resistance. Because zooming in a little bit further, what we can see here is obviously we've already seen 3 perfect touch points along this line of resistance, and right now that's coming in at approximately 62.2k to 62.3k. And when you're looking at this descending line of resistance and this descending line of support, what we have here is actually a descending broadening wedge pattern, which is technically a bullish pattern, meaning that we are more likely to break out to the upside. But of course, a breakout to the upside is not confirmed until we can actually break above this important level of resistance with some sort of confirmation. And if we can see a strong break above this point of resistance, that sets up a technical price target for Bitcoin towards $65,000 US, which from the point of the breakout to that price target would be a gain of around 5% to the upside. But of course, while we're still below this point of resistance, it is still acting as resistance. So technically speaking, it does still remain a possibility that we could see another rejection from this level. And if that's the case, looking here on the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, what we can see here is some important horizontal levels of support and resistance. First of all, this major box of resistance is starting at around $63,000 US, and just recently Bitcoin has gotten pretty close to that. And obviously in the past, Bitcoin has found huge resistance along this range of resistance. And as for support, we've got the 100 exponential moving average on the 4-hour time frame coming in at just above 60,000, more specifically around $60,500 US. And then we've also got a horizontal line of support at exactly 60,000, and anything below 60k, I'll be looking towards around $58,000 US as a huge horizontal level of support for Bitcoin, considering the fact that we have found support there, and also that was a huge level of resistance back here. So those are a few of the importance levels in the short term that I'm paying attention to in terms of resistance and support. And of course, anytime we break an important level, we need to see confirmation. And if we break support, that means we're heading to the next support. And if we break resistance, that's when we're heading to the next resistance. And by the way, if we start breaking above the 63k level, then the top range of this resistance box is at around 65k, which was that price target we were just talking about for the descending broadening wedge. And then anything above that, the final point of resistance for Bitcoin in the shorter term is the all-time high at around $67,000 US. And also taking a look at this bull flag right now, Bitcoin is potentially breaking out to the upside right now at the time of filming this video. In fact, the Bitcoin price has already pushed above this point of resistance, and currently we're in a little bit of a retest phase here. So if we can continue to hold this level and see a further bounce to the upside, and more importantly, break above some of these previous highs just here on the chart to confirm a new higher high on the smaller time frames, then that is how you know that we're finally starting to see a new breakout to the upside here, and perhaps continuation of this uptrend on the smaller time frames. And I've already mentioned in previous videos, but for the new viewers on the channel, the technical price target for this bull flag, if we can see a successful breakout here, that is coming in at around 83 to 84,000 US dollars approximately, which by the way, from the current Bitcoin price where we are right now to that price target, you're talking around a 35% gain approximately. So obviously a huge opportunity for Bitcoin if we can see a proper breakout to the upside here and start confirming a new higher high on the smaller time frames. But of course, we've already seen a new higher high on the monthly chart on the bigger time frame. So we're still looking really good on the big picture. All of this bearish price action, if you want to call it that, is only in the shorter term. So with that in mind, I am simply using this as an opportunity to accumulate more Bitcoin at cheaper prices before we start looking more bullish again, as the larger timeframes suggest. And don't forget, if you want to get extra real-time updates throughout the day, make sure you're following me over on my Twitter. The link to my Twitter is in the description down below for those of you that want to stay up to date in the markets at all times. And if you enjoyed this video or got something valuable out of it, be sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. I really do appreciate every single one of you that are watching these videos every day, especially those of you that have been sharing these videos around with your friends and family to get everyone involved in this amazing opportunity that we are seeing right now. And for the new viewers on the channel, before you click off, make sure you're checking out one of these uploads if you haven't already. I've got a trading tutorial video in the top left showing you exactly how I trade Bitcoin, and in the bottom left, I've got a passive income video showing you how I earn passive income every day in the crypto markets. But anyway, that is really everything I have to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.